My name is Arin Lindauer, and you're listening to A Life Without Struggle. I'm a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children, a 2-time best-selling author, and a highly driven and successful entrepreneur. In my 17-plus year career as a mindset and health expert, I know what holds women back from a life you only dream about. Whether you're a CEO, a businesswoman, or executive, I started this podcast because I have been where you are, and I know you want and deserve more out of your life. I believe women are limitless. We just get lost along the way. The process to get you there is the topic and purpose of this podcast. When you understand what you want, you can truly step into a life without struggle. Welcome, and I'm so thankful you're here. Welcome back to another episode of Life Without Struggle. My name is Arin Lindauer, and today's topic is it's not your hormones, it's your habits. So today we're going to talk about really understanding your hormones, understanding when hormone replacement therapy is potentially appropriate, and honestly, why you're not broken and why you're not losing weight. So let's set something straight from the get-go. Your hormones are changing. Like, case in point, they are changing, but they are not the reason you can't lose weight. And, the reason I want to speak so much on this topic is because there is just no shortage of women coming into my DMs, and it's just like, it's my hormones. And I'm like, hey girl, it's not your hormones. Particularly, it's the lifestyle. It's the 10, 20 years of buildup of, yes, things are changing, but here's what I know. Most women hit their 40s and you feel off. You feel tired, you feel moody, bloated, your body composition is changing. You notice this weight right on your stomach that you didn't have before, and you immediately go towards, oh my gosh, it's my hormones. Now, blaming your hormones without addressing all of your habits, all of your years of habits, is like blaming your car's engine when you haven't gotten your oil changed in years, right? Like, the car's not going to run. It's not going to run very well. And that's what's happening in our bodies. So today we're going to unpack what's really happening with your hormones and how to know if it's worth testing, and what you can do. I come here because I want to empower women that, hey, you are in more control than you realize, and why your lifestyle is still the biggest lever you can pull when it comes to seeing your weight loss and balancing your hormones naturally. So what's actually happening in your 40s, because I want to give you this science. Estrogen, progesterone, they start to fluctuate, not a steady decline, but it's this unpredictable highs and lows. That is perimenopause. That is what you are feeling. That is what I'm feeling currently today, right? And so progesterone typically drops first. This is what leads to more anxiety. It can lead to poor sleep. You can have water retention. So that we can blame on progesterone dropping. But again, I'm going to pull this full circle for you. Estrogen dominance or relative dominance can lead to bloating, weight gain, and irritability. Testosterone may actually dip as well. And this is caused because you're under muscled. You have a reduction in muscle mass. And so every year that we're alive and we are not progressively resistance training, you are losing muscle mass. This is where your body composition, where you're noticing fat in places you've never seen it before. This is what's actually going on. And you can increase your testosterone naturally by simply lifting weights, okay? Cortisol is another one that I want to talk about. This is your stress hormone, and it becomes harder to regulate when you're under constant stress. You're under eating, you're overtraining, you're doing all these HIIT, Orange Theory type of workouts. And so here's the deal. When your cortisol continues to rise. And listen, this is coming from someone whose cortisol was 37.66. Now, thankfully, I've gotten it down to 13. But here's the deal. Like, that is off the charts. It should not be that high. But I know what I was doing. I was running myself ragged. Lots of stress, owning a business, having young kids. I mean, building a house and having to sell it back to the builder, almost going bankrupt. It's just like all these things, aging parents, that aren't doing well. Like, there's no shortage of things that are going on in our world when we are now into our 40s. And a lot of it was some of the stuff leading up in the 30s. And I'm sure you have a version of this story. So it's not your hormones are broken. It's your lifestyle is amplifying all of these changes that are happening anyways. And so I'm here to tell you, from a woman who I was 100% in menopause, self-induced by being on birth control. I had no idea, because every year when I went to my OBGYN, they were like, "You're fine. Yeah, keep taking it. Yep, no worries." And I was like, I don't know if all this is normal. Like, I'm having night sweats and, I didn't really think my libido was a problem, but now not being on birth control, I'm like, well, hello there, libido. Like, it's nice to see you again. I had no clue that it was so suppressed. And listen, nobody talks about this stuff. And so that's why I want to bring this topic to you, because this is important. I was a mess hormonally. I decided to work with a competent provider that took me a while to find, did extensive lab work, chose to go off of the birth control. And we said, hey, we're going to give this 6 to 12 months to see what happens with my hormones. They wanted to see if I would naturally go back in. And she said, hey, just buckle up. This is going to be a ride. But before we started rubbing creams and injecting a bunch of stuff, she said, hey, we need to play this out. And the first 3 months were hell. They were absolute hell of my hormones, trying to figure it out. My period was crazy. And I was just like, okay, I didn't sign up for this, right? But I share that because after those first 3 months, it's almost like the skies parted and all of a sudden, like, things started leveling out. I got repeat labs done and everything was in a really, really good spot on their own. Now, I know everyone's story isn't the same, but for me, that was really, really cool to see. And it was just really, really cool to see what my numbers and my values were. So I share that because if you are taking birth control, it is something to really consider. And, we all take things for different personal reasons, but it's something that if you're in this perimenopausal space, you're not feeling well, you're putting on weight, you're puffy, like, I can tell you, I can literally see the cortisol has lowered, let alone the number from the lab report shares that as well. But it was a lot of it was getting these hormones to balance out on their own. But I will also tell you, I absolutely adjusted my lifestyle. We were able to reduce a significant amount of stress, which was huge, get sleeping again, doing, exactly the right workouts that are best for my body now. And I mean, it was like the light bulb came on. So why your hormones are not the reason you can't lose weight. So hormones impact metabolism, but they don't override the laws of energy balance. The real issue, your metabolism has adapted to decades of dieting, stress, maybe under eating, and to be completely transparent, most women, it's the lack of muscle. So most women move less, sleep less, and stress more in their 40s. Yet we expect the same results that we got when we were 25. I know I sure did. And this, I will tell you, this is years and years and years of all of this stuff compounding. So the combination of hormonal shifts, poor recovery, chronic stress, this is what creates metabolic chaos. This is why in my coaching program, you don't even realize it's not all about the nutrition. It's not all about the exercise. It's all about your recovery, your stress, managing the day to day. And that's something that women they don't understand when they go on this journey, or they're considering this journey, that it's not just working out. It's not just eating less, counting macros. This is about the woman that you become, the woman who doesn't freak out when all things go to hell, right? But it's a woman who understands how to manage stress. We choose our stress. And I know that kind of stings, but it's something where your stress is just a perception of your reality. So it's not your hormones alone. It's your habits colliding with your hormones. So your body isn't fighting you. It's responding perfectly to the inputs you're giving it. So what can you do? Lifestyle. Lifestyle is the first thing we need to do. We need to be focusing on protein. For most women, we need to get at least 100 grams. And being honest, most women need a lot more than that, on up 130 plus grams of protein to support lean muscle and balance your hormones. You need to do progressive resistance training. This is something I cannot stress enough. If you are so bold to think that your workouts off the internet, your YouTube videos, I downloaded this app and she's got, booty day and leg day and chest day and arm day and ab day. No, that is not progressive resistance training. That is not how you do this. Because when you build lean tissue, you boost your metabolism, you improve your insulin sensitivity. This is a big deal, ladies. Not only are you going to love your look, but you're supporting your hormones. 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I cannot stress this one enough. This is the most underrated fat loss hormone balancing tool. There was an endocrinologist that I was listening to on a podcast. I think it was with Dr. Hyman. And she said, if we could just get women to sleep, they would solve a lot of their hormonal problems. Okay. So focus on the quality of your sleep. 10,000 steps. This is low stress, consistent movement. And this alone supports cortisol regulation. Hydration. This is one that gets super overlooked. And micronutrients. Your body needs raw materials to create and detox your hormones. Okay. This is another big one, is the detoxification of all the crap that we've been exposed to. And again, not your fault, but it's something that you have control of now. Get good filtration on your house, or, your refrigerator is not enough. You need to care where your water's coming from. Even something as simple as ice at a restaurant can contain mold. And I know that sounds weird, but it's something to really consider when you're going to restaurants asking for bottled water instead of the tap. So your hormones don't need to be fixed. They need to be supported. Okay. And that support starts with your lifestyle, not a prescription initially. Okay. So, when should you go get your labs, and when should you consider HRT? So the signs that I want you to look for is your sleep is just trash, completely disrupted. Now, own it. Are you doom scrolling? Are you blue screens all the way to the minute you go to bed? Are you, not taking a hot shower, or doing rituals to help get yourself ready for sleep? Are you one more email, Arin? I got to get this out. You have to take personal responsibility of, hey, am I actually creating the right environment for sleep? I mean, we've got our bedroom completely blacked out. We've got brown noise playing. I actually listen to hypnotic tracks as I'm going to sleep, and you take a shower and do all the things to help bring your body temperature down, and it helps get you ready for sleep. Hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, anxiety, feeling just something out of nowhere, right? Like the surge, drastic drop in libido. If you're not desiring sex, this is a problem. And I had no clue that I actually had zero libido. Brain fog, fatigue even after you've been fully rested. So hormone replacement therapy isn't a magic fix, and it's certainly not going to make you lose weight. But it can be a powerful tool when it's combined with the right lifestyle strategy. And the goal of HRT is optimization, not rescuing you. So think of it more of it's got to restore a balance in you. And so this makes all your efforts in the gym. It makes when you do eat in a calorie deficit that's not too extreme, you see the results on the scale. It's not replacing what a lifestyle should be doing. So HRT can be helpful, but it's got to help level out your playing field. But it won't do your push-ups. It's not going to cook your meals or change your mindset. Those are the things that we actually need to focus on when you've got yourself in a good place. So you've got to do the resistance training. You've got to do good nutrition. And it's amazing how this can all come full circle. So the real conversation that needs to be had is your responsibility versus blame. We've normalized blaming hormones, stress, age. And I'm just going to tell you, this is a cop-out. It's 100% of a cop-out. It's your mindset that steals your power. You are giving power to your hormones and not taking personal responsibility. So when you take ownership, when you stop waiting for a doctor to tell you if you can lose weight or not, or a test or some quick fix, you step back into this control of your body, because your body is not broken. It's brilliant. It just needs a new playbook for this season of life. You can't eat, sleep, and stress like you did in your 20s and your 30s and expect to feel amazing in your 40s. So let's pull this all full circle. This is a new season of life, ladies. It's not a downfall. This isn't it. This is time for you to install the upgrade. You're needing a new OS system in your body. And once you learn how to work with your hormones instead of blaming them, everything will change in your life. If you're ready to stop guessing, stop blaming, and start leading your body again, that's where the real transformation comes in. So send me a message and say, hey girl, I want this balance because I'm ready to stop blaming my hormones. You got this, ladies.